So guys, in this video, we're just gonna keep it simple and explain, I'm gonna explain how to increase your training intensity overnight or just instantly. And guys, and before I go into that, I wanna also describe a particular formula that I've discussed in previous videos. And this formula is the work formula, okay? And work, for all the nerds out there, work equals force times mass times distance. Now, why is this important? This is important because this is the formula that you should be using every time you're trying to construct a training regimen or workout, okay? To ensure that you're not plateauing. People plateau because they're not really tracking they're not tracking their efforts. They don't really know how much work they're doing in terms of their overall volume. You know, they just go in and just do whatever, and they say, oh well, I think I did enough, but they're not really measuring how many sets of a particular way that they're doing. In other words, since I don't like to count repetitions and I don't promote that, I'm all about doing things for time because that's a better way to naturally increase intensity. Let's just say you do 3-minute sets like I do. I like to just go longer, put my muscles and my body under a lot of stress. That way I can incentivize that change. So if I'm doing a 3-minute set, I want to see how many 3-minute sets I can do. Because since doing one is challenging enough already, if I can do multiple, that right there, if I apply to the work formula, the fact that I'm doing all these things so often, that means my body is taking, I'm putting it through a lot to where it's more incentivized to alter to the way I want it to be. Okay, so a good way to increase intensity is by increasing the distance or the time of your sets. So people oftentimes do 3 sets of 10. I always talk about that. And I talk about that because that's a very popular thing people do, and it doesn't work because, or at least it may work if you're a beginner, right? Let's be fair and balanced here. If you're a beginner, if you're somebody who's just starting out, it works because anything works. Just like somebody who's morbidly obese, if they take a few steps and walk a little bit, they're going to lose weight because that's more than what their body's accustomed to doing. But the problem people run into is that they get to a point where they're at a standstill. They're not really making progress. That's when the 3 sets of 10 is not going to work. You're going to have to become more creative and be more innovative with your training, so that way you can get favorable outcomes. And a great way is by increasing your set duration, because again, look at the work formula, you're increasing your overall time in the set, time per set. Now, in addition to that,